Hold on. There we go. Had to make sure the microphone was going. How is everybody this fine Tuesday? So, what is it? It's November the 9th. I can't even remember what day of the week it is. I've got puppies in my office. So, if y'all hear anything, we still have puppies. Um, we have someone to take Shadow, so that's good. But they're not getting them till Thanksgiving, so that's a headache. But at least he's going to go to a loving home. But yeah, hopefully everybody is doing well. Again, this is our normal Tuesday live. Well, not 5 anymore. It's live at 4. I changed the time so that way, like, as I said, my husband gets off at 5 o'clock. So I didn't, especially since I'm doing it at home, I didn't want it to interfere with his schedule as well. Hi, Lenny. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, last week was the scrap box drawing. And if you're interested in entering for next month, make sure to go watch last Tuesday's live. I think that was on the 2nd or the 3rd. Make sure to go watch it and comment, like the video, and you're automatically entered. But yeah, hopefully, as I said, hopefully everybody's having a good day. I am a little on the tired side, just so y'all know. Hi, Kat. Dealing with puppies is an interesting thing. Hi, Carol. I forgot how difficult puppies were. Because the last time I had a puppy was Layla, and she's now 10. So it's been a long time. And dealing with a dog that's this big, and she's this big full grown versus a dog that is this big as a puppy, and is going to be much bigger full grown is a whole different ball game. And with them being siblings like this, they are very attached to one another. So it's hard to split them up to work on training. Which that's going to be something hard to deal with, is splitting them up. But I cannot at this point even think about keeping 2 puppies. It has been an adventure. Let's say hello. Hi, Linda. Hi, Vicky. One thing just to kind of let y'all know, tomorrow we have a great video. If you're interested in sublimating on dark clothes, I will show y'all all about it tomorrow. I'm super excited because this material I'm going to show y'all is so much fun. But yeah, I keep checking because I can hear them, but I can't see them completely. It's like they don't ever want to leave my side, which is a good thing and a bad thing all at once. But yeah, hopefully everybody is doing well. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on everything. Hi, Eric and Amy. Not sure which one of you it is, but I will say good morning to both. But yeah, they're still good. They're great pup. And okay, trying to think of the best way to put this. I love animals. Y'all know this. I absolutely adore all animals. I, for the most part, typically love animals more than I like people because animals are nice. Okay, Amy. Thank you for pointing that out because I want to make sure. But yeah, animals, it's like, to me, it's a whole different ball game. But my goodness, 2 puppies is 2 puppies. Okay, so let's see. Kat, I have a Christmas market come up. Did you ever do markets? If so, do you have any tips? So in the past, I have done some different craft fairs and events like that. So one of the things that I would make sure of is have products ready to go. Like your most popular things that you're either selling on Facebook or whatever. Some of your more popular items, have several of them made, but also make sure you have your information like business cards, things like that, and also labels on your product. So that way, if they want something custom, or if they want to order something later, make sure you have that information. And one of the things that you can do also is getting email addresses is always a great thing, because you can always set up like email marketing. Like they have MailChimp, they have a lot of different email marketing services, and that's always a great option too. But it depends on how you're wanting to grow. But yeah, make sure you have your payment stuff set up, because not every craft fair is going to have electricity, just so you know. So if you're doing Square, make sure everything is set to go and you've ran through it and tested everything beforehand, because again, if you're not sure, and arrive early for your setup, because it's almost and always inevitable that something's going to not really go wrong, but something that you're not prepared for. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes. And make sure you have plenty of change, Kat. That's always a good thing, is make sure that you have plenty of change. But yeah, have fun, be friendly. Um, for the most part, I always enjoy those. I love doing like one of the things I used to love doing is doing like small market days and things like that. It's a great way to get your face out into the community and for people to recognize your business, because here's the thing, is like everybody under the sun, it feels like, does like vinyl stuff and all that. But you need to find ways to make your self stand out. Hi, Kelly. Okay, so Kat, you're saying my problem is I have too many ideas for products and it's hard to decide what to take. Okay, so right now we are in the holiday season. So, what I would recommend is things that are more holiday related, because probably what you're going to do is, I'm guessing, something that is more like a holiday market. So I would concentrate on things like that. Um, and let's see. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do cards at the end of November. Like if you do custom cards, I would not do like for people to just have Christmas cards. I wouldn't have that as your product to sell. Now, one of the things you may want to do is have some examples of your cards. So that way, if they're interested for next year, I have a friend of mine who does scrapbooking and makes homemade cards and stuff like that. And she typically will start, like, she works on orders all year round for Christmas cards. Um, so that's always a good information, but I wouldn't make that like your main product to sell. Like Christmas ornaments are always good. Like the Dollar Tree elves sell like nobody's business. And you need to, like, things like that are always winners. But you also need to look, I don't know if there's a way to check and see who else is a vendor for the craft fair, because if you can kind of look and see who they are, you can kind of scope out their products and try to do something different. So, like, whenever I tell people, like, if you're going to look at your competition or anything like that, look at them. That's fine, but come up with something different. Let's see. Hi, Migdalia. You got your scrap box? I'm hoping you love it. Like, Luke was showing me what was going out, and it was awesome. Yes, Kat, I would do some of your pop-up cards. Pop-up cards are always popular. I love the way those things look. They're so cute. Gnomes and ornaments. Yes. And I ordered, just so y'all know, I ordered some different resin and epoxy molds. So we are going to work on some epoxy resin ornaments. I think that that's going to be a fun tutorial. Okay, let's see. You're welcome, Kat. I'm glad you love it, Migdalia. Okay, so what's the best way to market your site? So are you just having a plain website? Do you have Etsy? How are you running your business? That would be the question. Now, one of the things I always recommend is cross promoting and starting social media. Social media is going to be your best friend when having a business, but you have to keep it up to date and current. You have to figure out ways to follow latest trends and things like that, but showing off your products. And you can do this in so many different areas. You can do it on Instagram, you can do it on Facebook, you can do it on YouTube, you can do it on TikTok and Snapchat. And like, there's so many different social media sites, but social media is one of the best ways to promote things because that's where you're going to reach peer to peer. Also, one of the things too is if you're looking at marketing your site, is there are tons of Facebook groups that, like, okay, so say your site, you do children's clothing. So there are tons of Facebook groups that do like parenting, or, let's go talk about our kids. Well, you can contact like those page administrators and say, hey, if I give you a code, can I promote in your group? Because a lot of times that's a great way to bring business. And part of it is a little bit of a give and take. I think a lot of people are starting to realize how important social media is for business. But part of it is you have to kind of stay on top of it, because if not, it like trends change all the time. It's like, on the only channel, like, we do streaming for all of our TV stuff. And our Hulu is we got that as part of like our T-Mobile plan. And so we have commercials on Hulu. It's the only thing we have commercials on. And I forget what show I was watching, but I got a Burger King ad, and the music and things that Burger King was doing was recreating a TikTok video for their commercial, because so many people know that, even if you think you're too old for it, because I have been known to say that about myself. It's like, do I want to join another social media platform, like TikTok or whatever? It really does help. And there are people on there from all different ages. And again, part of it is consistency is key. Posting on Facebook, figuring out what times. You can also pay to boost your post, but that's not always the best way to use your marketing budget. As I said, getting like a newsletter, or getting like an email service, or something that kind of does text messages. There's tons of things like that. I don't know all of them, but there are tons of things like that you can do. Now, not all of it's free. A lot of it does cost money, but you have to spend money to make money. I think people forget that sometimes, that like advertisement, there's a reason why huge corporations spend so much money on advertising, because it works. But the key with advertising is making sure you're creating your advertisements as something that is fresh, something that is current, and something that also will help bring people to your business. If you're marketing bicycles and you have dogs on it with no bikes anywhere, people aren't going to know what you're selling. So it is important to make sure that people understand what you're selling as well. So those are some key things. But yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's just interesting stuff, like posting pictures of like special vinyls or things like that, because and it's knowing your market too. Because again, if you're selling bicycles and you're showing pictures of dogs with no bicycles, people are going to be like, why am I following you? And every eye that sees your post or sees it is a potential customer. So there's that. But also, in the vein of social media, and this is something I always tell people, like, if you're going to be on social media, you're going to have a business running on social media. If you are very opinionated about your political, your religious, any types of beliefs like that, I definitely recommend keeping most of that to yourself. And the only reason I say that is because in today's climate, no matter which way you lean, things are difficult and you can turn away customers if they don't have the same views as you and you're like, oh, let's shove it down someone's throat. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not to offend anybody or tell anybody, hey, we live in a country where you can say whatever you want to. Even if I don't agree with it, you have the right to say whatever you want to. But running a business, you have to take a step back and think of things from a public relations standpoint, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times I see small businesses that are very much, oh, well, this is what I think. This is my beliefs. This is, and you can turn off customers whenever you're doing things like that. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, you run your business the way that you want to, but these are things that I have seen cause problems for a lot of business owners. Because again, it's like in today's climate, you can't disagree on anything. Like it's either you're this one or this one, or you can't, there's no middle ground. And it's a crazy climate, or at least I feel like it's a crazy climate. What are y'all doing? Okay. They're still being good. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I try to think of things like, because when you're starting off doing your business, it is hard to get your name out there. It is extremely hard to get your name out there. And most times, whenever you're starting a business, you need to expect that for at least your first year, you probably won't turn a profit. And what I mean by turn a profit is it may look like you're making money, but when you actually go down to the brass tacks and look at your books and stuff like that, between like the overhead of actually starting things off, a lot of times you're not making what you think. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like this should be like understood, but look at how many big corporations have had issues because of who they support, like politically or like celebrity, that kind of thing. And I'm not going to go into any of it because, again, what I believe isn't pertinent to this. What you believe isn't pertinent to this. It's more about thinking about those actions before you do them, because it can turn around and bite you in the booty. Just, I've seen it a many a times. But yeah, that's part of it. Like, I don't know. Hi, Carol. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, I mean, and I think that there's things that people don't talk about a whole lot when it comes to business stuff, because it is, going into business for yourself is not for the faint of heart. It really isn't. It is so stressful. And, again, during everything that's going on in the world right now, I think it's 10 times harder. I mean, that's part of the reason why we were like, okay, with the stress level of dealing with everything, I was like, nope, I need to take a step back. Now, that's not to say I won't ever run a business again. It's just at this point, my health is more important than a business. But I do know a lot about it because I've done it for a long time and been extremely successful at it. And it's things like that it's not that I want to tell y'all how to do your, like, run your stuff or do your things, but it is important to stop and take a look at things from a different perspective when running a business, because and asking for opinions and testing things. Like, so if you are trying out, like, so say you make bath bombs, what I would recommend doing is, like, if you work with bath bombs, look for people in your area that have good followings, because you can find people who have good followings. Send them out a sample, let them test. They may post about it. That sends people your way. Also getting like test groups together for that kind of thing, like finding people that are not just friends, not just family, that will give you honest opinions about your product beforehand. Because, whenever your test market's your mom, it, she may not tell you that it's bad. Not saying anybody's work is bad. I'm just saying that yours, like, you need honest opinions. It's kind of like, okay, I used to watch American Idol whenever it first started. I'm sure some of y'all did too. And I always wondered how those parents, like some of those moms, were like, their kids couldn't sing a tune at all. And they were like, my child is the most wonderful singer ever. So I always equate that to, like, if you're starting a business, make sure who you're testing on is going to be completely and utterly honest. Because, like, say you're baking cakes. Well, your mom's gonna be like, oh my goodness, this is delicious, even though it's a dry, flaky mess. But yeah. So, Emily, Etsy is good for someone starting out, but it depends also on what you're doing. Because part of the problem that I have found in going to Etsy and, like, looking at Etsy and things like that is, if you have a good idea, someone's going to take it, someone's going to copy it. I've also seen a lot of people who were like, do a shirt, and they've come up with the phrase themselves. Well, someone else starts making it and they get it trademarked, and then you can't use that phrase anymore. There's so many things like that that are difficult. But yeah, so understand that going on Etsy, the chances of getting copied are greater. Just to give you a forewarning. But is that always a bad thing? No. If you've got good quality products, you've got good reviews and good ratings, that's more important than the copycats. But also, but Etsy, I have heard some things lately about people, like, supposedly hand making things, but they're not actually hand making them on Etsy. And it's been causing some problems because I follow, like, there's a Facebook group, I think it's called Good, Bad, and Ugly, or One Stop, something for, like, people who buy from, like, de-stash groups, people who buy from handmade crafters, people who buy from Etsy. When there's issues where these small business people are scamming people, so that way you can report those issues. So that, those are always good too. Hi Ruby, I'm glad you're here. Hopefully your headache is feeling better. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on everything. I'm going to do a live on my other channel today because I want to unbox this. Look at this. This is makeup. Isn't that beautiful? It makes me happy. And I needed a happy thought today. I am so tired. It has been a long day. It has been a very long day. Puppies are great, but they are a nightmare. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I feel like sometimes when I say stuff like that, like, I feel like I'm complaining, but it's just a fact of the matter. Like, whew. Why are you moving? Don't come bite me. I'm glad you're here, Ruby. And I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on things and my thoughts. Hopefully that's helpful. But again, any questions, concerns, comments, I always try to answer things as openly and honestly as possible. Because I think that that's important because, as I said, starting a business is extremely difficult. It is not for the faint of heart. Even if you're starting doing it out of your house, word of mouth is so important. So, like, say you're just wanting to be a Facebook seller. So say you want to just get on Facebook Marketplace and sell your shirts. That is still something that is very easy to do. Facebook Marketplace is actually really good. And I think that I don't know about their payment system stuff, but I do know that, like, with certain things that we need to sell, like, equipment stuff and all that, putting on Facebook Marketplace has been really, really great. And it's a good way to connect with people who are local to you because shipping stuff right now is difficult. Shipping is one of the biggest problems at this point. Thank you, Cheryl. I am feeling okay-ish today. There are good days, there are bad days, there are good mornings, there are bad mornings. Sometimes I'm terrible in the morning and better in the like this morning was not the best morning. It's still kind of lingering today, but I am feeling a bit better. Um, I think like for me, part of the thing is like stress is a big thing on what is making me feel bad, and that's part of it. Um, and like dealing with puppies is not always the easiest. Ruby, don't be scared to start your business. It's like I think that you will enjoy it. But you do need to check with your local province because you're in Canada and find out your local laws because I don't know anything about Canadian business laws. And I do know that, like, if you are in the States, you need to definitely check with your some of the good places to get information on starting a business is checking out your local Chamber of Commerce, your local EDC, which the EDC is the Economic Development Corp. To hear that, she's dreaming. But it will help give you information on what you need to do, what tax IDs, because there's a lot of steps to it that people don't always think about. But there is a difference between like if you're going to be a sole proprietor versus actually starting a business. Yes, repeat, you do need to ask your accountant because again, like the United States laws for taxes and stuff like that, I know are probably completely and utterly different than Canadian laws. I'm sure that they are because y'all have like duties and stuff whenever things get shipped to y'all. Wait, I have never had like extra taxes from having stuff sent to me. Um, it's a whole different ball game. They're moving. They're moving. I don't know if any of y'all watch the show Virgin River. I like that show. It's one of my few guilty pleasures. Like I could tell Jeremy, I was like, because he walked in last night now after work and I was finishing off my show because I couldn't film yesterday during the day and this weekend wasn't great. And he had to because the printer wasn't set, my sublimation printer wasn't set up. So I was watching the third season of Virgin River, and I think it was episode 7. The girl in it has had a seizure, and like the medicine she's on is the same medicine that I'm on. And it was like I started crying because it was like, oh, this is me. This is someone else showing what like what I'm kind of going through. And it was difficult to watch, but I think like I made sure to show my husband and stuff like that because it was like this is me. And it like I don't know why, but it really hit home. But yeah, Virgin River is a guilty pleasure of mine because typically I'm not into like romantic shows. I am not into like dramas like that. But I do like Virgin River. But it does also remind me, I don't know if y'all remember, there used to be a show on the CW called Heart of Dixie that had Rachel Bilson, and the same doctor was in Heart of Dixie as Virgin River. And I really, really enjoyed that show too. There are certain shows that like once they catch my attention, like I'm a avid, like, but those are comfort shows, if that makes sense. Those are the things that are like, oh, this makes me feel better. Or at least for me, that's kind of how I look at it. My eyes are going blurry. Okay, so y'all, yes, Heart of Dixie was great, Emily. But yeah, I am going to. It is, Monica. It is very emotional. And again, part of the thing is it's like, okay, so looking at me today, like right now, I don't look sick. I don't look like there's anything wrong. I look healthy. I look happy. I look normal. But if you would have saw me this morning, I was a freaking mess. And a lot of times people don't see the other end of how it is. And again, this isn't like I have been talking about things more, inventing things more because since stress is such a big issue for me and like my seizures, it is important to make sure my thoughts and things are heard. Um, but it's not because I need people to feel sorry for me or anything like that. It's just to make sure that, if you hear the train, if you're dealing with something as well, it is okay to talk about it, because there's going to be someone else who may not be in the exact same situation that you are, but may have similar things going on. And like, that's the hard part. It's not that we need someone to like be, oh, it's going to be okay, because for the most part, you don't know if it's going to be okay. Um, and it's hard and it's scary. It doesn't matter if it's cancer, if it's epilepsy, if it's multiple sclerosis, if it's Alzheimer's, dementia, if it's arthritis. I mean, there's so many, lupus. There's so many things going on for people that you may not see, that you see them looking normal and then they're like, I feel bad. And then people are so quick to judge. So I think it is extremely important to make sure that people know. Because again, if I'm not posting, I get emails, I get questions, and it's like, I'm, and again, I want to make sure people also have like knowing that they can, like, what I'm going through, and hopefully it helps them as well. Because it is okay to talk about it. Thank you, Monica. And yes, internally you're a wreck, and I get that. And sometimes it's hard to speak that out loud, because it's like, I was telling my husband that this morning. It was like, I have learned to ask for help since everything's happened. I don't ask for enough help, because that is still very difficult for me, because it's like, I'm used to being strong and now I feel weak. And that's the best way for me to put it. It's like, I have probably cried more in the last 3 months than I have in the past 10 years. Because part of it is, it's like, there's so many bad days and the good days feel like they're so few and far between. And part of that is, we're still getting medication and all that kind of stuff straight. I'm waiting on my stuff has been sent over to the neurologist, and I'm waiting for them to get back to me whenever I need to go in there. So hopefully that helps. Oh, Leanne, don't worry about it. But yeah, I am having, like, I have a video over kind of what's going on, just so you know. I don't remember where it's at. It's like I did a recording of it. So it's in there. Oh yeah, Novi, you talk about everything. She is so sweet. Cheryl, do you like Virgin River? It's so good. And thank you, V. You're so awesome. Like, it is. And that means a lot. I've had so many people, since talking about everything that's going on, who have reached out to tell me that they're praying for me, or tell me what they're going through, and that they are scared to talk, and it is very humbling, to say the least, because, like, I'm very close with my husband and my family. I have a few good friends. One of them is in the chat, Rupi, that I talk to all the time. But I don't have a huge circle. I don't have a lot of family. Y'all know this. But what I do have is extremely important to me. But y'all are also, like, who watch me, who interact. I consider y'all friends, and y'all, I don't think y'all realize how much, like, that kind of stuff has meant to me, because, like, I have had, like, it wasn't last live, but the live before that, I had someone who made a comment that made me upset, and I broke down. I'm not that, like, that is not me as a person. Um, like, I'm great at bottling stuff up, I'm great at not showing my true emotions, until it's like, "Huh." But yeah, Rupee, I love you too. And I know you're working hard. Heather, I appreciate it so much. Hi, April. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on everything. But yeah, we've got to, like, we're still got to check some stuff out because there are other things going on. But it's not all the time. So I need to talk to the neurologist to see if it's side effects of medication or if it's other things going on. And that's part of it too that no one really talks about. It's like, "Oh, you've got issues. Take this medicine. Oh, this medicine gives you this side effect." Well, is it a symptom or is it a side effect? Because whenever you've got things going on, it's like, which is it? It's sometimes that is very difficult, very, very freaking difficult. Um, but yeah, as I said, I always want to make sure these conversations are open and honest. Now, I'm sure once everything is kind of settled, I won't be talking about it as much. But at this point, there is still so much that is up in the air. That's, I think, part of what makes it hard, or at least it does for me. But yeah. Okie dokie, guys. I think I am going to end it there today. We do these lives every Tuesday at 4 p.m. I don't schedule them until the day of, because there are some days that are good, some days that are bad. So if it's a bad day, I won't do a live. But then there's also times that I think it's a good day and then it turns out to be a bad day. So just to kind of let you know. And also, I'm trying to get back to a regular posting schedule. I'm trying to get things pre-filmed on good days. Part of that is it's hard when you've got kids and doctor's appointments and all that kind of stuff. Yes, V, I completely understand. And, and the thing is, like, there are so many people out there that are just ugly for ugly's sake. And when I say ugly, I don't mean in looks, I mean in heart. And those aren't the people I want to follow me anyway. Like, I want this to be an amazing crafting community where we can talk about business, where we can talk about whatever, and it be that more like, because I don't know, like, maybe I'll figure out my words correctly for next time. Because processing things, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I want this to be a safe space, not only for crafting stuff, but because a lot of us were into the same kind of things. So that's part of it. It's like, okay, this can be a community where you can build friendships. I love to see whenever y'all are interacting with each other in the comments and things like that, because I think it is so important. So true, Rupee. We've had so many issues like that, but yeah. But yeah, thank you, April. It definitely matters. And that's part of it. As I said, I will always try to let y'all know in advance, but that is kind of the schedule. But as I said, I'm going to end it there. Tomorrow's going to be an awesome sublimation video, so make sure y'all check it out. But yeah, I think that's it. So we shall see y'all tomorrow. Bye.